What is going on, everybody? We are streaming live today. Going to be doing some Q&A for everyone, asking questions about the tech industry, asking questions about breaking into tech, scaling in tech, all that good stuff. So there's going to be a pretty short live, but moving forward, I am going to be streaming live at least once a week to answer questions that you all are submitting and sending in. So let me go ahead and check on the YouTube really quickly. All right, what's going on, y'all? So I'm going to be taking y'all's live questions that you all have, whether it's about any of the guests that I've had on Tech as a New Black, or anything that's happening specifically with like the tech industry, or any questions about breaking into tech, questions about interviewing. All right, what's going on? What's going on? So for those of y'all that do not know, that my Instagram was recently deactivated. So I decided in the meantime, while I'm working with Meta and my team are working with Meta and Instagram to get it restored, I'm going to use this time to be more on YouTube, be more inside of my Facebook group, answering more of y'all questions here. So that being said, I'm not going to be on here too long. So make sure that whatever questions y'all have, I can go ahead and answer those for y'all, because I definitely want to use this time to help y'all out. All right, so first question I got in here from Thrax. I want to get into tech, but I'm not sure what the basics are and where I should start. I clearly can't read tonight. I want to get into tech, but I'm not sure what the basics are and where I should start. I'm thinking I should build a foundation before I sign up for a course. Yeah, I definitely agree. You definitely should build a foundation, but the foundation that you need to build essentially is one, making sure you have a decent understanding of what the tech industry is. The term tech industry, of course, is a very broad term. I throw that term around pretty loosely, but essentially when I'm speaking about the tech industry, I'm usually speaking about the software industry. So of course, this being an iPhone, this is hardware, but then there's the software version of the iPhone that actually causes the function, the internality of it. And so I'm usually speaking about the software, but then to make it more granular, usually we're speaking about what's called a SaaS company, software as a service. So again, think of almost any company. Think of like Netflix. Netflix is essentially a SaaS company because they are software as a service. They provide a service that customers pay like on a monthly recurring payment. And so think of that, but usually not B2C. Usually it's B2B. It's business to business. Netflix is more B2C. They're business to consumer or business to customer, versus most other tech companies are B2B. They're providing a software as a service for other types of tech companies, and sometimes not even tech companies. Sometimes it's just for businesses in general, whether someone's a solopreneur, whether it's a business or corporation, whatever that might be. So one thing is for you to just get a basic understanding of the industry, but you don't need to do a super deep dive. Beyond having a basic foundational understanding of the industry, the next thing would be to actually take a deeper dive into understanding something about what specific jobs in tech that you want to do. All right, so cool. What else we got? All right, looks like we got somebody who's bored here. So I'm gonna tell you this: I love trolls. I love trolls because you actually help the algorithm. So I'm here for it. Throw the shade, any shade you got, especially if you're throwing the shade towards me. So be respectful towards everybody else in the chat, but feel free to throw the shade towards me because you're helping the algorithm. You're helping stuff grow. So I appreciate all the comments and stuff you give. Please go ahead and give it. I served in the Marine Corps, so trust me, I served during wartime. So trust me, some little troll comments don't bother me. I love them. Keep it going. Keep it going. The reason I grew my platform was because of a lot of hate and stuff before, so I love it. All right, so but I'm gonna not pay attention to them. I'm gonna enjoy them boosting the algorithm and then boosting the stream and the numbers, but I'm gonna focus on the questions that you all actually have here. All right, good stuff. So Julie asks, Coaster on top, Bracker nickel, L stream, Bracker. I don't even know what y'all are saying. I'm confused. All right, so Arthur says, tech professions you recommend besides sales engineering and SDR, where speaking skills carry over best. So that's pretty tough. So, okay, here we go. So customer success manager. So instead of sales engineering or tech sales, so tech sales, I wouldn't limit it to SDR. SDR is one job in tech sales. In tech sales, you have SDR, BDR, account executive, account manager, various forms of the sales side. So those are customer facing roles that all fall under tech sales. And then you have, sales engineering, solutions architect, that which is pre-sales and post-sales. But outside of those, what I would recommend that's a customer facing role where your communication skills matter a lot, customer success. Customer success is a 6-figure role in tech, pays very well, and it doesn't require a very high level skill set. So customer success, especially customer success manager, that's a role or a category in tech that doesn't require having to code or have any high level technical skills. So yeah, that's a really good role to look into. All right, next question. Someone says 60% in a CourseCareers. Thank you for your videos. Now I'm pursuing my tech career. Oh, you're 60% into CourseCareers. Yeah, so for clarity, for those of y'all that are here in the stream right now, for those of y'all that are rewatching, CourseCareers is one of the boot camps that myself and the Tech is the New Black team, we generally recommend to people. So for those who do not know, I'm someone who did a tech boot camp myself. A tech boot camp is essentially, it's a very shortened school. It's almost like a trade school in a way, but it's a very short school that is significantly shorter than college. Usually tech boot camps are anywhere between 1 month to 6 months long. Some go up to a year, but generally they're between 1 month and 6 months long. And usually the price for a boot camp the prices are somewhere between about $5,000 to $20,000. Myself and the Tech is a New Black team, we generally partner with boot camps that are usually between about $500 up to $10,000. But the boot camps that we usually recommend to people are even more affordable than that. So one being CourseCareers, which is the boot camp that is only $500, and we have a $50 discount code. That with that discount code, you'll end up just paying $449. So really, it's $499. With the discount code, it's $449. And the discount code is actually Cyrus 50. That's CYRUS 50, and that gives you $50 off. And yeah, a lot of people have been breaking into tech through that course. So yeah, so if you want to do that course, we definitely recommend it. If you have any questions, please, comment, ask any questions about that boot camp. My team and I will do our best to get back to you, or email us at info@techisthenewblack.com. info@techisthenewblack.com, and I will answer any questions that you have about that course. But yeah, good stuff. Let me know what you think about the course so far. Definitely get a lot of good feedback about that course. All right, good stuff. So next question or next comment. Thanks for educating on the industry and motivating others. Hey, it's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Once I got in the tech industry and I was making good money, and I realized, man, this industry is incredible. For me, I'm a person. I'm a God-fearing person. I believe in God and I love people. So for me, it's like, man, life is about purpose. Life is about you giving back to others. And as a man, once I got to a place where I was pretty situated in life, that's when I felt like my purpose really came alive, where it was like, okay, now what do I do? Because now my bills are good. Now my finances are good. Now my living is good and I'm at peace. But I'm like, now I feel like it's time for me to step into my purpose. So I believe it's important to find peace first, and then you can fully live out your purpose. So this became part of my purpose. This isn't my only purpose, but this definitely became part of my purpose. It's helping people find kind of the same financial peace that I found through this industry. All right, cool. So next question. Appreciate you. I appreciate the trolls. Thank y'all very much. Helping boost the algorithm. All right, next comment. Will I be able to use your code in June for CourseCareers? Yeah, you should be able to, unless something happens, which I doubt anything's going to happen. But yeah, you can definitely use the code in June. Let me put the code here in the chat for anybody who is 50. All right, boom. So I just put the code in the chat. All right, next comment or question. Are you still going to do a full interview with that CTO from your live event? I'd love to hear more of his story. Oh yeah, Sherman. So Sherman, the chief technology officer. I can ask Sherman. Sherman is a ghost. He's not. So Sherman is the only guest we've ever had on Tech is the New Black that does not have a social media. Sherman doesn't have any social media. He's a wildly successful man who he enjoys being a ghost or a phantom. So even having him at our event was a big deal. I was trying to get Sherman since the start of the podcast. I was trying to get him. Sherman is the person that initially inspired me to want to get in tech. He was the person where I saw how much money he was making, and I was like, what in the world? I got to get in this industry. But yeah, I'll definitely drag Sherman out to some future events and bring him on more. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, cool. So you're doing a great job, and I see you helping so many people. Keep doing God's work. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, we're all doing something. We are all doing something. At least most of us are. Even the trolls serve a purpose. Even the trolls serve a purpose. Nobody comments more than trolls, and trolls are the ones that help boost the algorithm. So I love it. Love it. I love it. All right, next question. Not a question, but I would love to see more cyber folks interviewed on the podcast that can lay a foundation on how to break into the industry, similar to the recruiters and tech sales pros. Yeah, I definitely can do that. I definitely can bring on more cybersecurity people. Now, when it comes to getting into the cybersecurity industry, there are two routes to get like a foundational level. So one, the Tech is the New Black team, we recently partnered with Boyd Cluis's Bootcamp. Boyd Cluis he's really popular in cybersecurity. And Boyd Cluis, he has a cybersecurity program that's like highly recommended. And my team and we recently partnered with him because he has a self-paced version of the bootcamp that's only $1,000. It's $997. And if anybody knows anything about cybersecurity, you're not going to find a cybersecurity bootcamp for that price, because any other cybersecurity bootcamp you look up, they're usually anywhere, even on the low end. On the low end, they're about like $6,000 or $7,000, but usually they're priced at about $12,000 to $15,000. So we recently partnered with Boyd Cluis, and he's giving us a discount for our audience to his cybersecurity program, actually to get $100 off that $997 point or price point. So my bad, I'm trying to multitask so I can pull up the link. But yeah, so with that, you're able to do his self-paced cybersecurity program for just $897. And so that's one option. The other option is with CourseCareers. CourseCareers has an IT program. I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. So CourseCareers recently launched an IT program. They launched it about 2 or 3 months ago. And I haven't really talked about it. The reason why is because I wanted to give it time. Like, again, CourseCareers, we recommend them. We offer a discount with CourseCareers for their tech sales program, because we can vouch heavily for their tech sales program. I mean, if any of y'all have watched them, you can go on our page and you can watch our testimonials. You know, it's a lot of people that get jobs through CourseCareers. They break into tech with 6-figure careers through doing CourseCareers for the tech sales. When it comes to their IT, because it's new, I wanted to give it some time to see on what level people are breaking into tech. So they have that IT program, but it's meant to give people entry-level roles into IT, where generally somebody could expect to start off making roughly about $50,000 to $70,000, which is still decent money. But y'all know, anyone who knows me, you know, my heart is helping people get a salary point that's higher than that starting out. So even on the low end, I generally try to recommend people to get careers in tech, where you'll start out on the low end around $65,000, $75,000. That way within a year and a half time, you can get to that actual six-figure mark. So, and again, that's why we give free tools, free information, free advice on how you can scale. So whether you're able to start out at six figures or you're able to start out, $20,000, $30,000 below that, and then within a year to a year and a half in the tech industry, you'll definitely be over $100,000 because you scale really fast in tech. If you're at a decent company, it doesn't have to be a great company. If you're at a decent company, if you're in a role like, tech sales engineer, cybersecurity, roles like that, you're doing your job, within a year, you'll get it at least, even like with just a decent company, your raise will be somewhere around $15,000. But of course, if you job hop, which I'm not recommending people job hop right away, but if you do job hop, you definitely can get your second role will be over $100,000 if you don't start out at $100,000. So anyway, I say all that to say, CourseCareers has an IT program that can give you an entry-level cybersecurity role, but you more than likely won't start out close to even like $90,000, $100,000, more than likely. But again, I might be wrong about that. But in the meantime, I'm waiting to get a lot of testimonials. And really, I'm really honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit up CourseCareers, because since I haven't recommended anybody from my audience to do the cybersecurity portion, I haven't been getting feedback from it. So I'm going to hit up CourseCareers and ask them if I could bring a couple people, or if they could recommend some people that have done the cybersecurity or their IT version of their bootcamp. If I can bring them onto the stream, and really they can give their story, give their feedback. They can tell y'all about it. And then we'll just kind of continue to rock that way. Man, my multitasking skills are not the best. All right, here we go. So I'll go ahead and drop this this link for Boyd Cluis's course. So this is the link to, now this is the self-paced cybersecurity program, not CourseCareers. This one is specifically cybersecurity, where you'll get a solid cybersecurity role. All right, cool. And that's the discount. So, all right, cool. Ooh, I scrolled down too far. All right, let's see what other questions we got. Blah. I appreciate all the trolls here in the comments. This is very helpful. Okay, cool. Someone said, currently in a boot camp doing cybersecurity, do I need really CompTIA Security Plus certification to get my first job? It is beneficial. So this is the way that it is when it comes to certifications. Specifically, so certifications in general are a good complement to whatever it is you're getting from the boot camp. For most roles in tech, certifications are not a necessity. And what I mean by that is certifications outside of doing a boot camp that gives you a certification. So random certifications are usually a nice complement. They're usually beneficial, but they're not a necessity. When it comes to cybersecurity, the basic things you do need in cybersecurity are the CompTIA Plus, the Security Plus certification. Those are things that help you out. Now, again, are they necessary? Not necessary, but again, you have to think of it this way. You are competing for six-figure jobs. It's not just you doing the boot camp and you go to a company and the company says yes or no. It's you versus 30, 40, 50, 200 other people applying for that specific, whatever company you're applying to. If you're not coming with your A game, if you're trying to just do the bare minimum, if you're like, oh, I did a boot camp, is that enough? Sometimes it is. But if you're talking about something like cybersecurity, that might not be enough. So you have to think about it. It's like, think of it this way. You coming to the table, think of it like a date. Think of it like you have a crush on someone. And you approach that crush, and I'm assuming the person in the comments is a man. If you're not a man, then do the reverse. Think of it as you being a man, and you come to your crush, Is it better for you to come to your crush and you tell your crush, hey, I don't have a job, I don't have a car, I live with my parents, but I look good, I smell good, I work out, I'm funny and I'm charming. Could you end up dating your crush? Maybe. But think about it. If that's your crush, more than likely your crush also has another option, another guy who comes up to your crush and says, hey, look, I got my own car. I don't have a house, but I at least have an apartment, you know, and I have a decent job. It's like they're going to look better to your crush than you are. So you have to think of it that way. You have to think like, okay, instead of me being like, okay, do I have to do this thing? Think of it like, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Now, do you have to wait to apply before you have those certifications? No, you can start applying right now. But as you're applying, as you're interviewing, constantly be beefing up your skills. And I'll take it a step further. Even when you get in tech, it's important to continue beefing up your skills, because even like that'll help you get promoted faster. It'll help you stay in higher demand in the industry, all that good stuff. There are a lot of people in the tech industry. When I go through my timeline on LinkedIn, there are a lot of people that are already working at tech companies and they announce new certifications they just got. They're like, hey, I just got my certification in this. And they announce it on LinkedIn. And it's almost like, well, why are you announcing that? You already have a job. But they're announcing it because they want to show everyone that they're leveling up their skills. So that way they can continue to stay in high demand with various companies. So think of it like this. The tech industry is not an industry that you just get into and you just kick your feet up. It's an industry that you get into, but you still have to constantly work and grind. Now, mind you, the grind is way easier once you're in the industry. Nevertheless, if you're one of those people where you get in the industry and you just want to chill out and just kind of coast, then one, that's going to be reflected on how quickly and how often you get promoted. Is going to be reflected on the lack of companies that want to reach out to you and want to hire you. Is going to be reflected on if you're at a company that starts doing any type of cutbacks, you're going to be the first one to go, because your management is going to say, well, this person, they've been doing their job, but they haven't been beefing up their skill set to be a greater asset. So you have to think of it that way, constantly be leveling up. But that's every high paying career. Lawyers, doctors. I mean, if you're an athlete, no athlete gets into the league and then they're just like, I'm gonna just do my regular conditioning. It's like, if you want to be in high demand as an athlete, if you want to be a star, you have to practice more than the other athletes in that specific league that you're playing in. So I kind of beat a dead horse on that, but I really want all of y'all to get that when you get into this industry, that it's like, yo, because I know those of y'all who follow me and follow my content, I show a lot of the glam, I show the lifestyle, I show the flash, but realistically, yo, it's a grind. But guess what? That's why you get paid such a high salary, because of the grind that you're in. So definitely great work-life balance. It's a beautiful industry, but you come with your A game straight up. All right. Porn Hun says, hey, what's up? How are you? I have a question. Yeah, any question you got, go ahead and ask it. Look at the time. Yes, homeboy coming. All right, my bad. I got a homeboy pulling up. I'm actually helping him get in tech right now. All right, he's actually pulling up. Someone said, how can I get into tech and work in that field? So I would say, let me do this. I would say check out my FAQs and then DM me or comment. I can't DM me because my Instagram's down. DM the Tech is the New Black Instagram page. So I'm going to do this right now. How are you going to let me share? Okay, here we go. All right, so for everyone who has a question about getting into tech, check out the FAQs. Here they are. Man. All right, so check out the FAQs. I'm about to drop the link right now for the FAQs. These FAQs, you don't have to read all of these, or not read all of these. You don't have to watch all of the videos. Just scroll through, and whatever video title stands out to you, watch that video. These are short videos that I've created, and some of these are from the podcast. where we answer different questions about the tech industry, how to get into the tech industry, how to interview, how to operate on LinkedIn, how to network at tech networking events, how to operate during a boot camp, how to operate before you do a boot camp, what to do after a boot camp. It literally is layered and listed with a lot of information and tools to help y'all out. So definitely check out the FAQs. Again, free resources, free information. I try to give y'all as much free stuff as I can give y'all before you do a boot camp. So that way you're super prepared before and after the boot camp to get a job as quickly as possible. All right, cool. Let's get to the other questions. I'm pretty sure. Oh, here we go. All right, y'all. So the trolls that are on here, I'm about to start putting y'all in a timeout because I don't care about the trolling, but what I do care about is not being able to see people's questions. I personally, so I don't understand. I low-key don't understand people that troll, because it's like, man, do you not have anything better to do with your life? I don't even have enough time to do things that are half the things that are important in my life. And it's like, man, the fact that some people have time to do things that don't matter at all, and then it's like even negative, that's wild to me. All right, super cool. So getting to the other question, somebody said, appreciate you, Cyrus. Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. Someone said, when should we send a resume during the course? What do you mean, when should you send your resume during the course? You mean when should you start applying to jobs? You should start applying to jobs. I say this all the time. You should begin applying to jobs halfway through a boot camp, especially if it's a boot camp that's roughly a month to 2 months long. At the halfway point, you should start applying and interviewing, because I'm sure some of y'all have seen, I've interviewed people, a lot of people, not on the podcast. On the podcast, I interview people that are already working in tech and they're experts, and they can give y'all insights. But on my lives, when I go live and I interview someone who recently got in tech, I'm sure y'all have seen about a quarter of all the people that have gotten in tech got jobs before they finished the boot camp. So definitely apply before you finish the boot camp. All right, cool. All right, someone said, hello, what was a cybersecurity bootcamp that was $500 that was mentioned last week? So that would be with CourseCareers. CourseCareers has an entry-level, very entry-level IT role where you will get a job starting out somewhere around $50,000 to $70,000. Maybe you'll get something a little more than that. I would encourage you not to accept anything less than that starting out. Honestly, in my opinion, even $50,000, 55, 60,000, that's very, very on the low end for the tech industry. But if you're in a desperate position, then do that. But what I would recommend to you is Boyd Cluis's program. This one, I'm putting the discount code in the link, or the discount code is Cyrus100. I'm sorry. The discount code is Cyrus100. This program, we put the discount code Cyrus100 to get you $100 off. This bootcamp is only $897 and it's self-paced, but this one is optimized for cybersecurity. So Boyd Cluis, his programs with cybersecurity are highly recommended. You can look at the reviews. Like, the reviews are phenomenal, phenomenal. Boyd Cluis actually was a guest on the podcast on Tech is the New Black. He was a guest, but the way that I found out about him, we connected on Instagram at first and we were following each other. I actually went to a barber shop and there was another barber that was there. He heard me talking about tech, because everywhere I go, people ask me, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm in the tech industry. And I talk to them like, I really like live this. So that being said, one of the barbers that was there, he told me he was halfway done with Boyd Cluis's boot camp. And I asked him his opinion on it. I was like, yo, I know the guy. He's going to be on my podcast soon. But like, what do you think about the boot camp? And he was like, yo, it's amazing. I'm going to tell y'all straight up. The reason why y'all don't see me promoting General Assembly anymore is because that same barber told me he did General Assembly and he said it was terrible, terrible. And once he told me that, as soon as I left the barbershop, I took General Assembly out of my link in my bio. I stopped mentioning them and stopped referring people to them, because once he told me that, but he told me Boyd Cluis's bootcamp, his cybersecurity program, the one that I just dropped, He said, man, it is incredible. He said, it's really incredible. So that's why when we interviewed Boyd Cluess, I asked him, I said, man, is there anything we can do? Because he wasn't allowing like influencers like myself to do referrals and offer discounts. But my team and I kept talking with him, and he has a really big heart. And he said, you know what? We can do this. And he ended up setting us up with this discount for our audience. So please don't take that that lightly. But if you can't afford the $897 boot camp, again, with the discount code, it's $897 for the cybersecurity program. Then as a backup, I would say do the IT program with CourseCareers. Again, that'll only be $449 with the discount code Cyrus50. But again, that one, I can't vouch for that one as much. I can vouch for CourseCareers. CourseCareers is a good program, but I've yet to interview or talk to anyone that's done the IT version of the program. So I just want to be fully transparent and make sure, I'm just being honest and straight up with y'all about everything. Blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. All right, we're starting to get the trolls out of the way. Tech Newbie said, we appreciate you, Cyrus. Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for hopping in here into the stream. Yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, my Instagram was deactivated. I'm working with Meta and some people behind the scenes to help me get back access to my Instagram. So it's bittersweet because I definitely want my account back, but I'm going to use this time to be on YouTube more and to educate y'all more and really just be here. So, because my whole purpose isn't about having a lot of followers on Instagram or on YouTube or anything. My purpose is really just helping out the audience that I have on whatever platform that they're at. So I appreciate y'all for being here so I can answer these questions for y'all. All right. Next question from Shine. Hey, just joining. Do you know anything about Test Pro Bootcamp, and what are your thoughts on the current state of QA testers? So I've heard about Test Pro. I haven't heard of personally anyone in my community that's done it. So if I need to look into it more, because it could be a great program. It could be a great program. I haven't heard good or bad. So it could be a great program or it could be trash. I really don't know. So I have to look into it. Like I said before, there are good boot camps and programs out there that I don't really mention or talk about, usually because from what I see, they're not better than another program. Like I mentioned CourseCareers because I've yet to find a tech sales boot camp that's better and that's more affordable. There are tech sales boot camps that are more affordable than CourseCareers, believe it or not, but they're not as high quality. People don't get hired as quickly through it, And then there are tech sales boot camps that are pretty much as good as CourseCareers, but they cost a lot more. So that's what we try to do. We try to find a program or a boot camp for a specific role that we found is the best and at the best price point. So I'll look into that program you just mentioned. All right, someone said, and what are my thoughts on the current state of QA testers? So QA testing is a good industry to get into. It is always I'm not gonna say it's a risky industry. It's an industry where I have a question mark in terms of how long that industry is going to thrive. Because even before the AI boom that we're all living in the wake of the AI boom right now, before the AI boom started happening, QA was something where it's like, okay, you can just do QA automation. Like there's other things around where you could already have programming software test out a product. And for those that don't know what QA is, I suggest checking out my FAQs. I have a video where I address what manual QA or QA tester is. So I'm a little shaky about the industry. Now, again, the industry could be totally fine. I'm not saying that the industry, anything bad's happening. The industry is going well right now. Just me personally, I see it as an industry that in the next couple of years, it could be obsolete. All right, question from Ada. Hey, Cyrus, thanks for sharing this value. Currently in Careerist, and I'm excited to get into the field. Do you have any tips to land interviews? Do you recommend just sending out a lot of apps? So I will give you a few high-level tips. I honestly could do a 1.5 hour, 2 hour stream of just tips to land interviews, which I am going to do. So quick heads up, y'all. This isn't a one-time thing. Moving forward, every single week, I'm going to bring on a different expert in tech to do streams and for them to answer questions, for them to do interview coaching. They're going to look at a couple resumes and give tips on resumes. We're going to look at people's LinkedIn and look over that top to bottom. But in order to do that, you do need to be a part of our Facebook group. The Tech is the New Black Facebook group. So if you want, you want your resume looked at, right now, I'm just talking to y'all on YouTube. But beginning next week, we're only going to be streaming through our Facebook group, and we're going to be answering questions to the Facebook group. Everyone here will be able to watch, but we're only going to be answering questions for our Facebook group and community. That being said, we're definitely going to be doing that. To answer your question on a high level of what tips do I have to land more interviews? One, the first tip I would say is to look at my FAQs. And again, y'all, the reason why I keep saying that is because my FAQs are completely free, and my FAQs go more in depth than I'm going to have the time to right now. So one, I would say look at the FAQs on the Tech is the New Black page. But aside from the FAQs, I'll give a high level overview of things you should do to land interviews. So one thing to do to land interviews is definitely, first and foremost, create a spreadsheet and a schedule, a daily schedule that you stick to. So let's say your schedule is, hey, I'm going to look over my email and look over my LinkedIn messages every day from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. or every day from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm going to look over all of these different things and I'm going to respond to people. Then from 11 to 12, I'm going to apply to companies, or maybe 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm going to apply to companies. Okay, then, and mind you, I'm not saying you have to do it in this time frame. I'm just giving like an idea. Then from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., I'm going to message a recruiter, from the proper recruiter from that company, or the proper hiring manager from that company for that specific role. I'm going to message each of them on LinkedIn, introducing myself and letting them know that I applied for the role and I would love to be checked out for an interview. So create a spreadsheet where you're listing the companies that are in there. You're listing if they sent you a rejection email. You're listing, what the role is, if it mentions how much the role is paying for. Like, list those things in there and keep that spreadsheet. Every time you get set up on an interview, you want to list the interview times. You want to list who you spoke with on the interview. You want to list unique things that they mentioned during the interview. You want to mention things that they said that you might be lacking, or questions that they had. Like, you want to list things in there because you want to be organized. You do want to apply to, at a minimum, about 20 companies a day, up to as many as you can, as long as you can sustain it. Because I promise you, you can apply in this industry, you can apply to 30 companies a day every single day, and you will never run out of companies to apply to. That's why, like, one of the things I tell people all the time is that this industry, a company could do layoffs and there are 100 other companies behind them that are still hiring. And then there are 100 other companies that are starting to hire for that role the next week. So it's like, it's always new tech companies popping up constantly. Anyway, that being said, so definitely apply to about 20 to, again, as many as you can a day. Just make sure it's sustainable, because you don't want to burn yourself out. Make sure you're hitting up those recruiters and hiring managers. Make sure you're optimizing your LinkedIn. So what does optimizing LinkedIn look like? It means actually having a fully fleshed out and filled out profile. That means your About Me section. That means even in your name, like, have your name, and then under your name, have what role that you're looking to do in tech. Don't say aspiring. Don't say I'm an aspiring sales engineer, or I'm an aspiring this. If you did a sales engineering bootcamp, you are a sales engineer. If you did a QA tester or cybersecurity, you are a security engineer or a QA tester. So put that on there, and then list other things, like fully optimize your LinkedIn, fully have it filled out. Also, you want to interact on the platform as well. And again, my FAQs address why these things matter, because right now, me just telling you do these things doesn't tell you why it matters. But these things matter significantly for recruiters and hiring managers finding you on the platform, and for when you're reaching out, for them to check you out and for them to look you over top to bottom. Also, when you're posting on LinkedIn, but make sure when you're posting, show your personality. Don't be a stick in the mud. Have fun, be goofy, be silly. Show companies that you are a very fun person, because this industry, the natural kind of tone of the tech industry is, yeah, it's hard working, but it's like, yo, work hard, play hard. We're silly, we're goofy, like we're, you know, we're laid back, like we're energetic, we're young. That's the whole industry, the whole energy of the industry. So make sure you're showcasing that on LinkedIn. Don't fear showing your personality. Same thing in interviews. When you're in interviews, be laid back, be fun, be chill. You know, don't be too corporate or anything like that. Like really be like a cool, laid back, fun person, crack jokes, dry humor, things like that. And again, I promise you, this is so high level what I'm telling you. So for anybody who's watching this and it kind of feels like, okay, you're not really giving anything in depth, it's really just because of time, because there's so many people on here and I want to get to as many questions as I can. But that's why I say check out the FAQs, check out my interview on my podcast with Shanae, who's recruiter cousin. Check out my interview with my homegirl, Isabel, who she was a recruiter at the time with Shopify. Now she's a tech recruiter with some other company. Check out my interviews with tech recruiters. They give a lot of insights as to what to do on LinkedIn, your resume. Like just look at the podcast and look at the FAQs and look at the interviews with recruiters. That'll help you out a lot. All right. I'm gonna try to get through. I'm gonna try to zip through the rest of these, or as many of these as I can. All right, so next question. I really need to break through with something to provide for my family. Is tech sales the best route to go starting off for someone with little experience in sales? Thank you for sharing. If you have little experience in sales, so first off, tech sales is a very high in demand role in tech. It's one of the most, if not the most in demand role in tech. It's one of the highest paying roles in tech. You could easily in 5-10 years max be making $500,000 a year in tech sales, like straight up. And that's like for real easily. So I have a lot of friends. I mean, shoot, if y'all check out the podcast episode that dropped this week with Kayla, she makes about $300,000. And she's been in tech sales for, she's been in tech for 8 years. I think she's been in tech sales for about 6 years. And mind you, she could make more than that if she wanted to. She's a beast. I'm not saying like she's not killing it. She's killing it. But she could make more than that. And she would tell y'all, if she really wanted to, she could crank it up and be making $500,000 a year. And her base pay, I think her base pay is somewhere around like $200,000. So anyway, that being said, tech sales is great. If you don't have a background in sales, then just do a tech sales bootcamp. Again, you know, hit the link, go to CourseCareers. If you want a discount, if $500 is nothing to you, then you can pay the $500. If you want a $50 discount, then use the discount code Cyrus50 to get $50 off. Again, y'all, any boot camp that I recommend, I need to say this more because I want to make sure y'all are fully aware. Any boot camp I recommend, 9 times out of 10, Tech is the New Black, we get some type of kickback when you use our discount code. So, and that's just the way that I am. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of free marketing for anybody's business and they're not giving some type of kickback. Every single boot camp that's out there offers a kickback. We just tend to focus on the boot camps that we found basically get people in tech the fastest. 1, because we care about people. 2, because we care about our reputation. And so we don't want to be recommending people to boot camps or programs. And people are like, oh my God, they're recommending like bad boot camps or programs. So that's why we really try to focus on boot camps and programs we can vouch for and that we know are solid. So yeah, if you want a discount, use the discount code Cyrus50 to get $50 off. And again, watch my FAQs, watch my interviews with tech sales reps, like with not just Kayla, but also watch my interview with Astrid, which was one of our older interviews. Astrid is fintech Latina. Watch those interviews. They give really good insights to tech sales. Look at my FAQs. Do the boot camp. As long as you're hardworking and decently competent, like you'll be fine getting into the industry and your life will be transformed for real, for real. Next question. And that's even if you don't have a sales background. If someone here, let's say you have a heavy sales background, you might not need a tech sales bootcamp. If you know how to optimize your LinkedIn, you know how to network, all those good things, then you should be fine. Because again, everyone doesn't need a bootcamp. Everyone doesn't need a degree. But what you do need is something to show to make you very competitive against other people that are competing for that role. Because that's what it is. Everyone's competing for these roles. You have to think of it that way. So you need something to be competitive. If you just roll up and you're like, hey, I worked at a sales company for a year, a year and a half, it's like, yo, I want this job. And you're competing against somebody else who's already worked in tech sales, and or they've done a boot camp, and or they have some type of technical background or experience. You're going to get out competed. So you have to think of it like, what are you bringing to the table in this game, in this competition? What does your resume and portfolio look like? All right. Is a support engineer a technical role or a non-technical? I see the starting pay is decent. So you have to look up. So you have to look up the company, because, for instance, is sales engineering a technical role or is it not a technical role? It depends on the company. So there are companies where sales engineers are highly technical, like where you have to know how to code. You have to know multiple code programming languages. You have to understand you have to understand like full stack or front end. You have to be able to utilize open APIs or even closed APIs. Like, there's a lot that could come with it. Or you could be a sales engineer where it's not technical at all. You're just a product expert and you know how to demo your company's product to prospects. So the same thing for, like, you mentioning something like a support engineer. Usually that is a very technical role, but it depends on the company. It depends on the company. My suggestion would be to watch a YouTube video, watch at least 3 YouTube videos of 3 different people that are support engineers to get a broad perspective on that. All right, what's the best starting salary for a BDR? I don't know the best starting salary for a BDR. I don't know the worst starting salary for a BDR. I would tell you to not accept anything lower than, for a BDR, I would say don't accept anything lower than $60,000. That's just my opinion. And accept as much money as you can get. But no, what's the best starting salary? I could never tell you that, because we would all have to go to Glassdoor or ZipRecruiter or something like that and look up like different companies and compare. Went to Linux Bootcamp. I'm almost done. Any advice on someone who is getting in with no other education? I know you don't do it, but would over any advice in the tech, but it would. I know you don't do it, but would over any advice. Yeah, my bad. I'm struggling to read this and understand what you're trying to say. But essentially, I don't know anything about the Linux Bootcamp, so my apologies. I really don't. But Linux, I know Linux is a technical. Linux is either a programming language or it's some type of technical skill set that you learn in tech. I'm not sure exactly what Linux is, but I've heard Linux mentioned a lot in the industry, and it's usually referring to people that are very highly technical. So I can't speak to it. My questions would be, and these are questions you would kind of have to ask and look at. Does the bootcamp help you in terms of getting jobs? Do they set you up on interviews? Do they fix up your resume to be industry standard? Do they help you with your LinkedIn to be industry standard? Do they do interview coaching? Do they what all do they do for you aside from just the education? And again, y'all, that's why you will never see me recommend, and I'm not saying Linux might do all of that and then some, but my team and I, we really try to, and I always say my team, I know y'all only see me, but it's an entire team behind the scenes that helps me do all of this stuff. And we're trying to get better at it. We're trying to get better at our videos. We're trying to get better at the guests we're inviting on. One thing we're about to start doing on the podcast, y'all, we are about to, and let me know in the chat what y'all think about this. We are about to start interviewing founders of tech companies that are hiring. So that way, and we're going to start streaming them as well. So that way, those of you watching the podcast, not only are you learning about different jobs and roles in the tech industry, but you also will be able to watch interviews with founders that are hiring, and you'll know what roles they're hiring for and what they're looking for. And one of the things that we're going to do is have it set up so that way one of the things that we're working on is having it set up so that way they can give our audience some type of code or something. So that way, when you apply, they know that you came through Tech as the New Black. And that way their recruiters can prioritize our audience. That's something that we're working on doing, because we really want to see all the different ways we can help y'all get jobs in this industry as quickly as possible. So we're like, yo, let's start interviewing founders of tech companies. So that way y'all aren't just learning about jobs in tech, but you're learning about how to start tech companies and tech businesses, and you're learning about unique companies, but also being able to apply to those companies as well. So that's something we're working on. That being said, the boot camps we recommend and that we look at, they're typically boot camps that that help you beyond just the education. So hopefully Linux does that, but I'll look into it and see. Are any tips for transitioning from BDR to customer success manager? Yes. In my FAQs, this is one of the questions I answer in my FAQs, how to transition roles in tech. And I'll give two different things. One, I'll give a few different things, and I'll say these kind of quickly. So one, make sure you're doing, so you can transfer internally. So if your company has a customer success manager role, which more than likely it does, you can transition internally. How do you do that? Make sure you're working hard, because you have to have a good reputation within your company, and make sure you're networking internally in your company. You know, message other teams, shadow some of the customer success manager reps, things like that. Get familiar with their teams. And then when you're seeing job openings, let the management know, hey, when y'all have openings, I would love to be interviewed for those openings. If you work hard, like if you have a good reputation for your work ethic and your networking within your company, then, you know, it'll be easy for you to transition over. Now, outside of that, if you want to get a role outside of your company, then one, you can either just apply for the role to other companies, but to set yourself up for best success, there are customer success manager programs. Now, you might not need to do a boot camp if you're already in tech, but you can get like different type of like certifications or trainings, just things to show that you have a understanding of what the role entails and that you have a competency regarding it. Cyrus, will you be doing any in-person networking events in Houston? Not in Houston, but I'm gonna give y'all a heads up. We actually have an in-person tech networking event in Miami that's gonna be on a mega yacht. So my team and I are working on that right now. Like something huge. We're gonna have founders of tech companies there. We actually are finishing recording the promo for it next week. And we're going to drop the promo in a couple weeks. So heads up, y'all. That's going to be happening. It's going to be major. And it's going to be in Miami, which is where I live now. I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm at my spot in Atlanta, but I've moved to Miami, and I'm moving to Miami as my lease is ending here. So yeah, that tech event, when y'all see that, definitely pull up. It's going to be a very exquisite tech event. There's going to be on a mega yacht on the oceans in Miami. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be amazing. Beautiful. All right. What do you think the best starting salary should be for SDRB? There's not a best starting salary. The best starting salary is $1 million. You know, but jokes aside, like you're not going to get that at SDR BDR, not starting out. I mean, you're not going to get that SDR BDR. So stop thinking what's the best starting salary. Just think what's a good starting salary. A good starting salary for SDR BDR is anywhere between $65,000 and up. But again, I always tell people to not take anything under 60,000. I would say shoot for like a 80, 90,000. Shoot for as much as you can get, you know. Yeah, but again, I can't speak to what's the best starting salary. There's not, because I've had people on my podcast, not on my podcast. I had someone on my Instagram live, and his videos here on the YouTube. See if I can think of his name. I'll try to find his name really quickly while I'm talking through this and find his interview. It shouldn't take me too long. But I've had somebody on here. Come on, where is it at? Oh, so annoying. I've had people on my live where one dude he got $125,000 as, I think, a SDR. But also he's in Cali, and the company was paying him according to that. But he's 19 years. I think he's 20 now. But he was 19 when he started out. So you can get it's possible to get something really high paying. Now, again, that's not the norm, though. That's not the norm at all. So, yeah, my bad, y'all. I'm struggling to find it. It's way far down. Okay, here we go. Boom. Perfect. Here we go. So y'all know your boy ain't capping, because y'all know I love receipts. I love people. I'm really big on honesty and all that stuff, because there's a lot of shady stuff to be going on out here in these social media streets. All right, I just dropped it down in the comments. So click on that link, watch his interview. That young man got I think it was $125,000 starting salary, which again is abnormal. Most people that I've interviewed that just got into tech and they did a boot camp, like this young man, most of them started out somewhere between like $75,000 to $100,000. All right. All right, cool. Bro, is it possible at all to get on a call with you for 5 minutes? I've watched and followed all tips, but I feel as though my current situation is more than the surface level tips, as those might be more. So it won't be a 5-minute conversation. It won't be. It wouldn't even be a 15-minute conversation. I know that it won't be. I would say this. I would say join the Facebook community. And again, weekly, I'm going to be bringing on different experts and stuff. And you can ask some of the unique questions that you have. And in the time that we'll have, they will be able to answer and I'll be able to answer. But if you want a one-on-one, you would have to book a one-on-one with me. I do 1 hour, 1 hour consultations, because even an hour is barely enough time to talk through everything top to bottom. So you wouldn't need a 5-minute call, because if it was only 5 minutes, then whatever your question was, you could be able to answer that here in the chat, and I could answer it in about 3 to 5 minutes. But I wouldn't be able to, because whenever it's a unique situation, it usually requires more than like 15, 30 minutes, something like that. Customer success manager is a role in tech. It's generally a 6-figure role in tech. Just join this live and pay for CourseCareers. Any advice? Yes. Check out my FAQs ASAP. Check them out as soon as possible. And look through different questions. You don't have to look at every FAQ, but get as much information as you can, because that will set you up for success. Look at some of the questions I answer, like, what to do. I have a video that says what to do before a tech boot camp, what to do during a tech boot camp, like questions like that. What to do after a tech boot camp, what to do on LinkedIn, how to network at tech networking events, like all of that. How strict is the quotas? I'm assuming you're talking about tech sales. It depends on the company. Some companies don't have very strict quotas. Some companies do have very strict quotas. It really depends on the tech company. I'm currently in tech sales as an account manager. How do I transition to being a sales engineer? I have a video on my FAQs that answers that. It's literally a video that says how to transition from sales engineer to tech sales or to account executive. Thank you for the transparency. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure, my pleasure. Hey, thanks for the knowledge. I think I remember in one of your old videos you saying that a boot camp pays you while you learn. Maybe which one was that? A boot camp that pays you while you learn. A boot camp that pays you while you learn. I can't remember which one that was. There was one, and that was when I first was kind of telling people about tech. Whatever the reason, I stopped recommending them and I took them out of my bio. So all you need to know is that I took them out and there was a reason I took them out. So that should be telling. So yeah, no. Because if a boot camp's paying you while you're learning, I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to say anything negative about any boot camps or programs, but there's a reason why I don't recommend them anymore. I never accidentally stopped mentioning a boot camp. It's just, there will be reasons why. All right. Hey, Cyrus, as someone that is a future graduate studying IT, does it make sense to try and get a tech sales role while in school and do the boot camp, or wait until I graduate possibly? Future graduate studying IT, does it make sense to try to get a tech sales role while in school and do the boot camp? So understand, if you get a tech sales role, you're going to be working between the hours of 9 to 5. So I don't know how you'll be able to be in school and work your job in tech sales. I don't think it'll be possible. So I would say no. I would say do this. I would say start interviewing with companies anywhere between about a month before you graduate to, at a minimum, 2 weeks before you graduate. But in the meantime, set up your LinkedIn, start networking on LinkedIn, building relationships and rapport. Go to tech networking events nearby where your school is at, and not networking events just for college students. That's good, but networking events for like adults or people that aren't in school anymore. Build your relationships, build your rapport, build your network, all that good stuff. You know, it's funny. A troll said earlier here in the comments, they were like, imagine having 72,000 subscribers and only I think they said only like 80 people in the chat. They think that's embarrassing. They should. My Instagram, I had 157,000 followers and only like 150 something people, 200 people be in the chat. So that's even worse. Saying that to say, I'm gonna tell y'all, I actually don't even be looking at how many people are like in here. I'm always focused on either the comments or I'm focused on the camera in terms of what I have to say. I'm a person, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm saying this to help all of y'all. I've been an influencer on social media for about a decade now. And one thing I will tell y'all is that all the clout is silly. Like followers are very similar to money. It's really just a tool. So money is a tool that you use to get things to help your life. The money doesn't really mean anything about who you are. It doesn't show anything about your self-worth. Money is just a tool that you use to get things. Having followers for me is really is like, these are the people that I'm helping, that I'm pouring into. Whether I'm talking to people about God, which I'm going to start back doing that a lot more. Whether I'm talking to y'all about getting into tech, whether I'm just really encouraging people, it's, hey, these are the people that I'm pouring into, you know, and that's what it is. So don't ever get caught up in how much money you have. Enjoy the money. Don't ever get caught up in how many followers you have. Like I just mentioned, my Instagram just got deactivated. Hopefully I get it back. That's 157,000 followers. If my identity was wrapped up in that, I would feel like crushed. I would feel devastated. I'd be depressed. But literally the only thing that made me sad about my Instagram being deactivated is that I'm like, dang, man, like there's so many people my team and I have been helping out and are trying to help out. There's so many people that don't follow me on YouTube and don't have access to me on other places. And now I'm like, man, I really wanted to be there to help them out. So my team and I are trying to get it back so that way we can like optimize our link, our Instagram to educate people. So again, don't ever get caught up in this stuff, y'all. And so whenever trolls say silly things like that, I'm always like, I've been doing this social media thing for way too long to really care about how many people are joining my stream or how many this, how many that, you know, because shoot, y'all have seen it can be streams where it be 3 people popping up and stuff. So even if it's 3 people, I'm gonna help those 3 people out. All right, anyway, yo, Cyrus, got in CourseCareers because of you, dog. I'm 80% done. Yo, shouts out. Make sure you start applying to companies now. Start applying ASAP, you know, so that way you can be best set up to get a job as you're finishing or shortly after you finish. All right, y'all, I'm about to have to wrap up in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try to zip through the rest of these questions and hop off this live. What do you think about, leveled careers? It was also promoted by Troy Buckhold, CourseCareers. It has programs for cybersecurity and tech sales. Yeah. So that's what I was speaking about. That's their new partnership, which is a IT program that CourseCareers just launched or that they partnered with. That's what I spoke about it a couple times on this stream already. Yeah, I don't really know yet. I'm waiting to get testimonies and stuff. Once I get testimonies and feedback, I'll bring some people on and let y'all let them tell y'all their experience in the program and stuff and give like a real kind of top to bottom overview. Just graduated from career sales engineering program. Now looking for a job. Thanks for all the great information. I look forward to networking at your next event. My pleasure. My pleasure. Same thing I'm gonna say to you. I said to everybody else, make sure you check out my FAQs to get insights on things you should do. And check out a few of my interviews with tech recruiters to get other insights on stuff. Is there another name for customer success? Customer success manager. I wouldn't know. Maybe, I mean, customer success is usually like customer support, but in tech, it's called customer success. Okay, cool. Hi, Cyrus. I looked into Boy Clueless, but the program is 800 plus. Is for people with some experience in cybersecurity. It turned out that someone who is new to cybersecurity, the program was $11,000 plus. I don't know about that part. So please ping me because I don't think I'm gonna make it to the bottom of these comments Please ping me if you can. I'm trying to think. If you can message me on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn is Cyrus Harbin. If you can message me on LinkedIn and tell me who told you that, I guess what happened with that, because yeah, the people that I know that did the program, they didn't have a background in cybersecurity. But now please let me know. All right, Gabby L. Hi, Cyrus. How do you transition from regular sales manager to tech sales or sales engineer without doing a boot camp? I have a video that answers that in my FAQs, and I'm not trying to dust you off. It's just I know that I don't have enough time to answer that thoroughly right now, and I want to make sure that you get the best answer. But yeah, it depends on a few different factors, but it's definitely doable depending on a few different factors. But again, I addressed that in my FAQs, which are here on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube channel. What are your thoughts on the demand for data engineer and machine learning engineer? I mean, it's highly in demand. I mean, machine learning, for those of y'all that don't know, machine learning is probably the most in-demand role for AI and robotics, because it's machine learning. You're helping a machine learn. Basically, you're helping it learn the same way a child learns. You're helping it learn through trial and error, so the machine can kind of learn things itself to a degree. So it's very in high demand because robotics is booming right now. Robotics and AI, like we are in the midst of the robotics and AI boom. So machine learning is that ish. I'm going to start looking into programs that train people on machine learning to help people get jobs in that industry, because that industry is going crazy right now. Crazy. It's definitely not something that's as cut and dry as tech sales, but I mean, it's crazy in demand right now. So some people might like it. No. Listen. D, do not get discouraged by my outlook on manual QA. I said earlier, that was a theory. That's just a theory. That's not anything I've seen to back that theory. That's really just my own thoughts. Because I thought 5 years ago, manual QA, even before I was in tech, when I learned about manual QA, I was like, oh, that sounds like that's like something that's going to be done with. And it's still chucking and driving right now. So that's just a theory. Do not get discouraged. The last thing you want in this industry is getting discouraged as you're getting into the industry. So keep that vigor, keep that excitement, all of that. Again, it was just a theory. There are some things that I'll tell you are straight up fact, and there are other things where I'm like, oh, it's kind of a theory that I have. All right, y'all, I'm very sorry. It's so many questions in here. I want to get to. I promise y'all, I'm going to come back here on the live. No. So I'm going to answer this last question. You addressed the boy Clueless Bootcamp. He has two different cybersecurity programs. He has the one where it's a course in a virtual classroom. That one is about $10,000 or more. And he has a self-paced version where you still get a lot of assistance, but it's self-paced. That one is the one that's I'll post that again here in the chat, and then I gotta jump off. If I could find where my stuff at. Oh, here it is. I'll post that here in the chat. And again, for $897, the discount code is Cyrus100. I think that's, yeah. So go to the and the discount code is Cyrus100 for the cybersecurity program. All right, y'all. So I gotta jump, but check out my FAQs, because a lot of the questions y'all are asking are answered in my FAQs. Next week when y'all see me, I'm gonna bring either a tech recruiter, hiring manager, someone on here to give like further tips and insights, so we can kind of like, be able to answer more questions for y'all. Tap into our email group, our email newsletter. Our email newsletter, we don't send out a bunch of random stuff. Our email newsletter is very cut and dry. We send out companies that are hiring for different roles. We send out upcoming tech events around the US. We send out the link to our latest podcast episode. And that's basically it. But you definitely want to tap into it, so that way you can see what all tech events are happening, so you can grow your tech network, you can party, mix and mingle, all that good stuff, and get more acclimated to this industry. And so there's a lot of free resources to help y'all out. So definitely tap in with that. Yeah, I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful night.